Hello, YouTube. Thank you all for coming by the channel, and thank you for being patient with me. This is a new development. This is a podcast that we're trying to do. The guests, I have two special guests that's coming in to join us today, and they're working on some technical problems right now as we speak, but they'll be joining soon. So I want to just give a brief summary of what this channel will be about. We will do weekly podcasts where we're going to have open conversations about different topics, different scenarios. This is a very open, non-judgment, non-committed channel. We're going to be doing gaming as well, but we're going to keep the topics open and very broad. So feel free if you have any comments, any questions, please make sure that you take a moment and write them down in the comment section below. Also, please take a moment to like this channel, subscribe to the channel, make sure you turn on all bell notifications, any alerts, so you won't miss a beat, won't miss any uploads, any live streams, anything coming forward in the near future. Once again, I want to thank you all, and we'll be starting here real soon. Just be patient with me. Today's topic is going to be an interesting topic when it comes to peace. And it's going to be very mind-blowing at the same time. And I hope that you receive something out of this message today. We're going to ask a variety of questions, and we're going to just get different point of views, different opinions. So feel free to write any comments or any questions that you may have below. So I'm going to take a quick break and see if I can get the guests inside, and I'll be right back for a brief second. Give me just a second. All righty. Hey, Tim. That's fine. Okay, so y'all, I'm on the phone with one of the guests right now, and he's having technical difficulties, but we are trying to get him in right now as we speak. So please be patient with us. So as we wait on him to come in, I'm going to go ahead and apply the first question. It sounds like he's coming through now. Let's see. So as we wait, I want to just give you more information on the channel itself. We would try to podcast a live stream every Thursday or every Friday every week on different topics and different scenarios. Also, there's a twist to it, and the reason it is called Game Changer is because I also play games, but I also use that platform to try to reach out to different youth, to different people, to not necessarily minister to them, but just give them an avenue to where they can just freely and openly talk about different things and get different point of views on different subjects and different topics. So please feel free to come in and join. And if you do play video games, I'm on Xbox, and if you have a gamer tag, please type that into your comments, and I'll be more than happy and gladly to play games with you, depending on what type of game it is. I'm not the best, but I do like the game. So, but I also like to use that opportunity to just reach out, discuss and have serious conversations with other people, random solutions, random problems as well. So let me try to send him another invite as well. I do apologize for the late start, but where they're located right now is going through a severe thunderstorm from what I've just been told. So we're going to try to get them in again. And if not, we're going to just move forward, I shall say. So as we're sitting here, I'm going to pull up a brief definition of peace from what the dictionary says. And we're going to go into a little bit more in depth as far as what that topic could be, or what that specific word means, and how it could be broken down into many different categories. But how does it affect us daily? How does finding peace affect us as a whole, as a community, as a family, as a church, as a husband and wife, as daughter, son? We're going to just break down different avenues of that particular word peace, and what does it mean, and how do we receive it, and how can we receive it? Where can we find it? It's just different avenues of that, because in this current age, in this current situation, with everything that's going on with the pandemic, if I don't know if you was affected by the snowstorm, but being locked in the house for a while and being dependent on, or what you was dependent on to survive, or what you was dependent on as you may be going through that storm that you was going through. Where do you find your source, or who are you looking towards to get that peace from? So we're going to discuss different things and different topics. Unfortunately, we are still having technical difficulties. Let me see. Okay, one of them just texted me. They're almost done trying to get in. I do apologize once again for the delay. Let's see. All right. Send another. Shouldn't have to do that again. Let's see if they're coming now. I do apologize once again, y'all. I'm communicating with them through text right now. All right. So let's see. In the meantime, okay, that's Tim. Oh, excuse me. So feel free to, if you have any questions right now, as we're trying to get everybody up and going online, if you have any questions, please type them in the comments, and I can respond to them right now as we're trying to get everything up and going. So as we wait on them, one thing that I would like to go ahead and discuss is my particular definition of peace. Do apologize. He's calling in now. Okay, well, he's just hung up. So the definition of peace, when you find it in a dictionary, would be peace, freedom from disturbance, calmness, restfulness, or quietness. And sometimes we depend on people or depend on things around us to find us peace. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can have a hard day at work, or even just as a perfect example with the pandemic that we have going on, or with the snowstorm that's just hit a lot of areas, and being trapped in the house or being confined to your home. We always sometimes get real stressed out about things that are happening around us. And most recently, in my experience with my current, the job that I had before this, it was a job that I enjoyed going to. It was a job that I enjoyed, the people that I met, the surroundings that I was involved in, and it never changed who I was. But my peace became disturbed when my manager told me something that totally took me by surprise. And when it happened, it disturbed my peace to the point to where my peace was interrupted everywhere around me. And it became very hard for me to cope with it. So then what I found myself doing was trying to find peace in what my spouse was doing around me, or what the kids was doing, or what was going on in politics, or what was going on in every avenue but the one source that I should have been looking for, and should have been standing on, and should have been depending on, which was through God. And it's easy to get trapped or get caught up when you're trying to look like we got Tim trying to come in now. I do apologize about that. Let's see what he's trying to say. I think you have to let me in. You're in. There you go. Let's see. I don't think I have you muted. I think you have your own mic. Okay, there you go. Can you hear me? You hear everything okay, Tim?
Yeah, it's a little lag, but I think that might be something on my end.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Um, so let me finish this, Tim, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. As I was saying in a brief discussion, so what I found out and I realized that my peace became disturbed from what the person told me at work, and it affected everything around me. But then what I had to really realize is where my source of peace come from. So before I get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and let Tim introduce himself, because this is gonna be a very interesting topic. So Tim, if you want to go ahead and take this moment to introduce yourself and go from there.
What'd you say, Fred?
Go ahead and just take this moment to just, introduce yourself, your background, and where you come from.
Man, the audio is terrible on my end.
Let's see if I can change something on my end. Let's see. Let's see. How about now? Is that any better? Tim, can you hear? I think he might be having a connection. Yep, I think we just lost him. Yep, we just lost him. So, chat, if the audio is bad on my end, please leave a comment and let me know. Make sure everybody can hear me clearly. Just want to make sure it's not on my end. And once again, I do want to apologize for the technical problems that we're having right now at this moment. Definitely was not expected, but hey, that's the works of the devil. He always try to stop you when you're trying to give God his honor, his glory, and his praise. So we will not give him any more credit than he deserves. The audio is good for me. Thank you, Miss Journey. I appreciate that. Once again, while we're trying to work out the technical difficulties, please, if you have not, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will do more podcasts. This podcast will be open to anyone that wanted to voice an opinion and wanted to just share any thoughts that they may have, any topics that they want to cover. This is just a platform for everyone to speak freely and speak their mind. No one here to be judged, nor will be judging anyone. So it's just a good way to just get away and just have an open dialogue about any subject or any topic in other matter. So they're trying to get back in again. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, there you go again. Needs to make sure his phone is connected to the internet. Okay, there you go.
I had to just do it on my phone. It's lagging on my iPad.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, just go ahead and take the time to introduce yourself to everyone, and say whatever you wanted to say. Any social media platforms you want them to check you out on, anything.
Okay. All right. Well, hey everybody, my name is Tim Walton, here in Shreveport, Louisiana. But I'll be 34 next Friday, so I'm excited about that. Chapter 34. I am married. I know. Stop laughing, Fred. I'm married 10 years this year. I have 3 kids. Wonderful wife that loves me unconditionally. Thank God for that. And I'm just I'm just a guy that really just I enjoy life. I just love the Lord. Love ministry. I'm a drummer at my church. Grew up in church pretty much. I'm a warehouse supervisor at Centerpoint Energy. It's a gas company here. And I'm just really excited, just for this opportunity, just to really be a part of this. I think it's something that's really gonna launch into something great, and help a lot of people. But been serving the Lord pretty much all my life. Had some, a lot of, hiccups in the road, but thank God, the Bible talks about if you fall 7 times, that righteous man gets up again the 8th time. And thank God I had people there to help me and to catch me when I did fall. But uh, I love to the youth and young adults and pretty much anybody I come in contact with, just to share my story, share my experiences and what God has done for me and what I've seen on my 34 years of life. Uh, I'm social media platforms is find me on Facebook, Tim Walton. Uh, that's all I kind of have right now. Kind of
Okay.
just real simple. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Okay, so our second guest has arrived. Morgan, if you want to just take this time to introduce yourself, give them a little background, and if they can follow you on any kind of social media sites or anything that you just want to go ahead and advertise at this moment.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Morgan Woods. I'm actually the brother-in-law to these fine young gentlemen that you see before you. And it's been a little while, I think, since we've all kind of gotten together. But just before we get into that, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually on staff at Connect Church. I am the worship pastor and also the youth pastor at an Assemblies of God church down here in Alexandria, Louisiana. 32 years old. Been serving the Lord since I was 16, and I love every moment of it. I'm very excited for what's to come and the future that God has for what He's doing in my life and the calling that He's allowed me to walk in, the grace that comes with it. Just as Tim was saying, I definitely don't, see myself as the perfect person, but I definitely believe that even with flaws, it's all a part of the perfection. It's all a part of the masterpiece that God has worked together for His glory. And so I'm just excited to be here. Looking forward to see what's to come, and the success, continued success of this stream. So I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. And I don't think I properly introduced myself since we was having so many technical difficulties in the beginning. I am happily married, and I do have several beautiful, wonderful kids. We're going to just leave it like that. This is an opportunity that I truly believe that God has impressed on my heart. We all spend our lifetime sometimes trying to find our purpose. And I truly believe this platform is a purpose that He's instilled in my heart. So the platform that I wanted to create is a platform to where we could create an environment where it's a safe environment to where we can have open discussions about different topics, different point of views, because you will be surprised on what you can learn from different people. And as the Bible says, in all that you do, gain wisdom and understanding. And it'll be hard to understand a different point of view of where someone is coming from if you won't take the time to listen. So I am a member of EMIC, which is Eagle Mountain International Church, Kenneth Copeland Ministries. And yeah, that's it. I believe that's all I wanted to share. So currently, to catch you guys up, I had the definition of peace on the screen, and you can see it on the screen below. And I want to start off just by asking some general questions. So if you guys don't mind, the first question that I wanted to ask, and be open and honest in your point of view, don't have to be written from a dictionary or anything, but what is your definition of peace? What does that mean to you? So either one of you guys, whoever want to go first. Morgan, if you want to go first, that's fine. But what is the definition of peace to you?
Well, I believe like definition of peace, it resides in your identity, because I definitely think before you can define what peace is, you have to know who you are, where you're from, the ins and outs of who you are as a human being, as a person, as a soul. And I know a lot of people, they are looking for and searching for peace, but they don't know how to find it. And I believe that's where the root of it is in knowing who you are. And so peace defined to me is being, I would say, satisfied in my identity. And that's where my peace resides. It's eliminating chaos. It's being able to slow down and to enjoy the flowers on the smell the flowers. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I definitely believe that's a part of it. Peace defined is lived out, in my opinion, lived out in your life. You can see where there's chaos, there is no peace.
All right.
Where there's peace, there is no chaos. And so I think for me, that's what peace defined is.
So, and I know I started the podcast without you guys being on, and I don't think I ever answered that question for myself. So, Tim, before I let you answer, I want to go ahead and give what I believe it is. And I think it's something as simply as a quiet heart. And the reason I say that is because in the midst of every storm that you could find yourself going through, because remember, God never said that there won't be trials and tribulation that we'll face here in this world. But all trials and tribulations He's already conquered. So the key to finding that peace is to remain quiet in the midst of the storm. So in my point of view, in my eyes, when I first moved, for example, when I first moved out here, it was hard. 127 applications before I found my first, 107 applications before I found my first job. And I'm sitting here and I'm going through the stress. I'm going through turmoil. I'm like, well, I got to contribute. I got to do this. I got to do that. And if it wasn't for the peace of God, knowing that my faith in him was going to carry me through and bring me to where I'm at today, if I didn't find peace in the midst of what I felt like was a storm, when everything was coming down, bill collectors, this and that was falling around me. If I didn't find peace in the midst of those storms, it would have been hard for me to make it through. But understanding that, you know, what was it? Philippians 4:7, where it says, and the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds on him. That scripture carried me through a lot. So the definition of peace means just simply having a quiet heart, not allowing your emotions, not allowing your emotions to carry you in places that you should not respond from. Because when you respond out of an emotional place, you make emotional decisions, and those emotional decisions can cause you to make a lot of mistakes that you shouldn't make. So, Tim, if you want to jump in and just give your definition on that part, that would be great.
Yeah, when I think of peace, there's a lot of things, a lot of thoughts come to my mind when I think about peace. But uh, when I when I when I looked at the definition, and it was something pretty just straightforward and simple, and it's so true for me. Freedom of disturbance, tranquility. But like Morgan said, that there is so much more to peace, just feeling, not having that, just having, feeling tranquility, or calmness, or at ease. Um, I know
Mm-hmm.
for me, peace, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but just for all in all, for me, peace is just one of those things that, um, I can't function. I can't be the leader of my household. I can't lead my family and make decisions without having peace. And it's not so much just look at the pros and cons. It's more than looking at the pros and cons of a situation. It's really, okay, Lord, what do you want? What are you saying? He talks about in Proverbs 3:5 that, trust in him in all, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him. And I think we miss that part sometimes, with us acknowledge. We have to acknowledge him in all of our ways. And when you do that, and you practice that, practically put that into and applying it into your life,
Mm-hmm.
then peace can come. And I love, one of the things that Jesus gave us was peace. He said, my peace I'll leave with you, not the worldly peace, but the peace I give you, the peace that he lived, that he experienced. It when you look through the Gospels, especially Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Peace kept him when he got arrested. If I got
Right.
arrested, like, and had to go through what Jesus did, then I'll be like, I'm not having no peace. I'm ready to fight. I need people. I need backup. So, but, but he didn't even say a word. He didn't say a
Right.
word. He, all the accusations, the spitting on the spit that came his way on him, the beating, all the way to the cross. The death, and then all. Thank God for the resurrection. But in all of that, he said nothing, and he was at peace. When I think about that, I think about, like, how am I going to respond, in these situations when all hell breaks loose? Do I have peace? If I'm not having peace about it, okay, then there's something wrong. I need to back up. But all in all, that's what it kind of means to me in a
Okay, that's
nutshell.
good. That's good. So the second part of the question, how do we find peace? So I think we sort of touched it, but just to reiterate again, boss, give a scenario or give a thought on a way possibly you, in the midst of a storm, would search for peace.
Well, for me, I am very analytical. So when I look at something like peace, I typically don't just try to look at it from a Christian standpoint. of course, my hope is that you would not just have Christian people or believers watching this stream, but that you would also
Right.
have unbelievers, professionals in the secular world, being able to watch from this and being able to glean from what's talked about here. And
Exactly.
so for me, naturally you would think I would, as a pastor, you would think I would speak from just a biblical standpoint. But I kind of want to give a little bit of both sides of the coin, because, peace in a person's life can come in multiple ways.
Mhm.
One of the ways, which is just very practical, of finding peace, you can find peace in having a hobby. You can find peace in having quiet time. You can have peace just somewhere that you can eliminate the chaos or eliminate the noise of life. You can find peace there. As a believer, of course, we know that sometimes that is impossible. And even as somebody that maybe you are not a Christian, you can even say that it feels like it's impossible at times to find peace. Like you can't get away from the kids, or you can't get away from the bills, you can't get away from the chaos, because it's always there.
Right.
And this is kind of where the line is drawn for a believer versus a non-believer, because for a believer, peace does come because of who Jesus is. Jesus is the holder of peace, and when you have peace in your heart, normally Jesus can be found there.
Right.
So for me, I don't have to go searching for peace. I'm going to say that again. As a believer, I don't have to go searching for peace.
All right.
The reason why is because peace resides on the inside of me. It resides in the personal work of Jesus Christ, what he did for me on that cross, my relationship with him. He now, as a holder, as a fountain or a well of peace, now resides on the inside of me, and it's from that deep well that I can draw from. So when I'm thirsty and I need peace, it's already residing inside of me. Sometimes it is stepping away from the situation. Sometimes it's something as simple as praying and stirring up the gifts that God has placed on the inside of me. And I can find peace in those places. If I can tell you a quick story, I'll try to be brief with it. It's funny, that sometimes how life goes, because, for me, I literally had a situation where I was in the midst of a storm. I had just came back from California. One of my friends got married out there, and a couple of my friends, we were all riding back together in the same car. Well, of course, me, I'm kicked back in the back seat. I'm gonna go to sleep, right? We're riding back. Well, little did we know, there was a storm. Actually, I believe it was a tornado coming through the area where we were. We had no clue. So we drove into this situation, right? Drove right into the midst of a storm. And while we're there, we get reports of, hey, it's right on top of you, right? Now, again, I'm asleep. Next thing you know, I wake up to the car sitting still, and we're at a gas station. I see my friends running into the gas station, and I hear the wind raging all around the vehicle, and I'm like, God, is there something I need to be worried about here? Like, it just seemed a little strange. He said, no. I said, all right. And it wasn't that I heard an audible voice. It was just that I knew I had a peace on the inside of me that said there was nothing to worry about. So you know what I did? I went back to sleep.
Right.
but you know where the example comes from, right? Because as Christians, we hear the story, we see the story in the Bible where it talks about how Jesus was on the boat with the disciples and there was a storm raging around them and they're all worried and they're waking Jesus up. Jesus, wake up! There's a storm brewing. We're in the midst of the storm about to go down. And what happens? They wake Jesus up, and Jesus, he's looking at like why y'all waking me up? Why y'all disturbing me from my sleep?
Right.
Jesus gets up and he speaks to the storm. The peace that's on the inside of him, he released it to that storm, to that situation. And I've heard many commentaries, I've heard many pastors, many preachers, they talk about this story, and they normally give one or two angles on this story. They say Jesus spoke to that storm naturally, but he also spoke to the storm within the disciples.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for me, that peace resides on the inside of me. Because why? I put my trust in Jesus. Why? Because I have a relationship with Jesus, and it's from that well that I can draw from. And so when I take the practical steps, just like every other person, and I go out for a walk, I go down to a coffee shop and get me a cup of coffee, I kick back and read a book, I go and sit and listen to some music and just really enjoy the music that's playing. In those moments, it's not just the practicality of what I'm doing physically, but it's also the spiritual aspect that's happening in me combined that allows me to have peace.
That's good.
And so that's what it is for me.
That's good. So before you answer that question, Tim, want to thank everyone that is currently watching the channel right now. Please take a moment to just like the video, subscribe. Please share the video. There's no age limit. There's no age restriction. This is for everyone, every category, every race, every male, every female. This is a platform to where we're just going to take this opportunity to just have open discussions about general topics or any topic for that week or that moment. So once again, I want to thank you all for coming by. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. There will be plenty of more uploads and different guests. If you would like to be a guest or if you have a question, please leave it in the comments below. We will answer your questions at the end or towards the end of the commentary. So please, if you have any questions, please type them in the comments and we will get to those questions later on. Once again, thank you for coming by. Tim, same question goes for you. How do you find peace, or how do you define it, and how do you, same thing. Take it over, brother.
First and foremost, Morgan, you need to. Those friends of yours, friends don't let friends stay in the car asleep when a tornado comes around. I don't. That's crazy. Man,
Right.
really? You're that selfish. You go run in the gas station. Oh, he'll be all right.
I know it. Then he went back to sleep. So he didn't even worry about himself.
Man, you about to go to the upper room. Anyway, that was the first thing. That kind of I was like, man, hold on, man. I gotta talk about that. But how do I find peace? For me, it goes back to that definition that I mentioned earlier when it talks about freedom of disturbance. I know for me, busy, have a lot of things going on. When things are real chaotic for me, one of the first things I do, it's tough for me I'm working on this. It's tough for me to slow down. It's tough for me to kind of just sit back and just put a pause. I have to always keep going. So the Lord's really dealing with me on that. But I have to stop. Really, even if I tell myself, Tim, stop, just talk to myself, and just slow down. One of the things I do, I listen to music. Music is very therapeutic for me, big time. I can kind of get lost in the melodies and the chorus and the beat, the arrangement of the song, of whatever it is. It could be I like jazz, a little R&B, of course, gospel, but just whatever, and just instrumental, just with instruments playing. I love that. But I sit back and I just try to relax and just kind of calm my mind, kind of, declutter my mind, what's going on for the day, and just really just focus on me. Like, okay, what's the deal? Just kind of talking it out in myself. Even sometimes I even write things down in a journal. I mean, that's another way to kind of get your thoughts on paper and to just really just kind of decompress, de-stress yourself as well. But one of the scriptures I've held on to for it's been my kind of my go-to. I have to remind myself of this, pretty often is when God says, slow down and make sure you know I'm God. I'm God. Step out of I think the Message Bible says, I love how the Message Bible says, the translation says, step out of the busyness and the traffic of life and know that I am God. Stay, sit still, be still, commune with me, talk with me. Uh, I think a lot of times when we think about the word pray or prayer, we think it's a big, you know, religious word. And it's really not. All it is just talking with God.
Right.
Simply put. And
Right.
even just telling God how your day is going, asking God how He's doing. It's just
Right.
it's just a relationship. Just like we all have relationship with each other. We talk. It's the same thing with God. Even though He knows, He still wants to hear us. So I just really just decompress like that by writing my thoughts down. Uh, talking with the Lord, putting music on, different little things, just even going outside and just taking a walk and just breathing fresh air. It's really just the simple things, not, you don't have to be, necessarily anything extreme, but just the simple things for me is what I do to help these, kind of find that peace. That peace is within me, but I have to step out of all the busyness that's going on with the wife, the kids, with the job, with music, at the church, whatever I'm a part of and doing, accountability that I'm doing with other guys, you know, uh, being a mentor for them. I have to you can't give out of yourself if you don't have anything there. Uh,
Right.
so one of those things I do, I decompress by, I read the word, worship, prayer, just talking with God, but also just I love to go outside and walk and talk. The Lord talks to me more when I'm doing lawn work, out in the yard. So
Right. Right. Right.
my wife would tell me you need to go do that more often. But if I ask her, but at the same
Right.
time, it just but writing my notes down, writing my thoughts down of the day, journaling, and even just in music, just getting lost and just sitting still and listening for God. Because He's always talking, but we have to step out of the busyness in our life to hear Him.
Right. So we do have a question or two in the chat, but I'm gonna give what I like to do. I'm gonna make sure. Oh, okay. I thought I had my mic muted. Um, I want to answer the question as well, and then we're gonna answer a couple of questions in the chat real quick before we go to the next one. Once again, our views are going up on the channel, so once again, I want to say thank you all for coming by. Please make sure you subscribe and like the video. We will have more videos and more podcasts to come. This is just the very first one of many. So, how do I find peace? Of course, you can look at the name of the channel, Game Changer. Every morning, I faithfully get up and I spend time with God in an unusual way. Most people would say they would go to a quiet closet or they would go to a quiet part of the house, which, the blessings of God. I have my own room, my own office, and I spend the first couple of minutes or the first moment, a few moments, just listening to him. But then I also find as I'm playing video games, I keep AirPods or headphones or a TV playing in the background, and I'm constantly filling up, fueling my heart, fueling my soul with the word, in order to prepare myself to deal with everyday chaos, everyday trials and tribulations, and everyday circumstances that may arise and come up. But I really became, it didn't really hit me until a couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, how gaming, most people go to gaming as an escape. Most people go to gaming like, ooh, when I get off of work, I just want to play video games. And I just don't want to deal with the kids. I don't want to deal with anything. Some people use that as an escape. And I don't use it as an escape because I actually enjoy coming home. I actually enjoy being at home. I actually enjoy being with my wife, being with the kids. But gaming relaxes me, and it makes me, it's hard to explain, but it also helps me focus more on the God. It helps me focus more on his word. I could be in the middle of playing with my brother-in-law and he'd be like, Fred, where you at? And I'll make up some excuse. Hey, man, I blanked out for a minute, but it may be something that I was listening to in my headphones that he got killed by somebody by accident. And I didn't want to admit to it, but sometimes a word come over in my ear and it's just like, whoa, that was good. And he'd be like, hey, Fred, you didn't hear me do that call out? No, I didn't because I wasn't listening. So, yeah, boss, I'm sorry.
No wonder. I'd be wondering why, we lose some of these matches. And now I know.
Now you know, because I mean, sometimes I should be, and when I get real quiet, he should know that I'm focusing on something else other than the game. But gaming it helps me, for some reason, it helps me break down exactly what it is that my heart is looking for, as far as finding satisfaction in God's word. So that's exactly why this channel has been created, because it's not only what I want to do for my family, for my house, but it's just working with the people that I work with and the people that I met. Everybody has an opinion or a different point of view on life itself, or on peace itself, or on the things that they go through and how they cope with things. And we are all created to minister to someone in some shape, form, or fashion. And that's what I want to use this platform for, not be restricted, as Boss said early in his statement, just to be religious or Christianity on people. It's for believers, non-believers, for everybody that has problems, that has opportunities, or just want to be heard. That's what this channel will be used for. So when I think about peace and everything that I do on a daily basis to find peace, this is why we're here today. I'm here with my brothers, and we're sharing our point of view and sharing our thoughts on different topics and different things. So one of the questions that popped up in the stream is, what do you do when you mistake your peace as peace, but it wasn't, and it cost you something? Once again, let me repeat that. What do you do when you mistake your peace as peace, but it wasn't, and it cost you something? Whichever one of y'all want to attack that question first. Can you hear me? Hello. Did I lose you? Oh.
I'm trying to think of something. Give me a sec.
Okay, I can read it again for you as well. What do you do when you mistake your peace as peace, but it wasn't, and it cost you something? That's a great question.
It is a great question.
Well, I believe that part of you having peace, again, if you have peace and you believe that God has given you peace, whose voice are you listening to? Whose voice is leading you? Because if God's leading you as a believer, you have to know, if you're reading this word, if you're reading this, then what ends up happening is that trials are going to come. That storms are going to come. Look at every single situation or story in the Bible. There was never a story that did not have some kind of up and down or some kind of thing that we can glean from it. There was always those that heard the voice of God and would do what God told them to do. And most times it cost them something.
Right.
But see, this is the part of your life being a vessel unto God to which he receives glory. Because if you belong to God, you are his child, then that means if he needs to allow a storm or allow a situation to happen, you have to trust that he's not going to let you fall from his hand. He's still holding you. Even though the situation looks bad, he's still holding you.
Right.
And I've seen in my own personal life, 32 years is not a long time. Some of the kids, in my youth group, they'll tell me, yeah, you're old. But I've learned that it's not a long time. And even in the midst of my years that I've lived on this earth, I have learned that the things that God has called me to do are going to cost me something.
Right.
And I'll have peace. And I'll wonder why, God, why did you allow me to go through this storm? Why did you allow me? Why do I have to go through this? There's been times, even I can actually tell you this in all honesty, last year, we were going through some changes here in our area, in my church, etc. And I remember crying tears, laying in bed, crying tears. I'm not afraid to admit that I cry tears. I'm a grown man, but at the same time, I get real before God.
You're only 32.
But,
Yeah.
You're a baby.
But one of the things that what happened to me, the situation I was going through, I'm crying out to God, God, why do I have to go through this? I could be somewhere else dealing with other stuff, being way more successful at what I'm doing. I feel like my gifts and my talents are going to waste, and that this is costing me something.
Right.
Being here is costing me. But I look back to the word that God gave me. I stand on the promises that he has spoken to me, that he has revealed to me. And every single time I look back on what God has done, I see the possibilities and the limitlessness that God has before me. And I hold to his word, knowing that God will work all things together for those who have been called. You have to look at the word. I go back to that. For those that have been called to his purpose, if you've been called and you've received that calling, those trials, those tribulations, those things that cost you, they will work together for his glory. It says for the good of those that love him. Now, if you're not a believer, I can speak to that too.
It's funny you should say that, because they should added that same question. What if you're not a believer though? How would you handle it?
Okay, so if you're not a believer, and are you? Where did you get the peace from? That's my question.
Right.
Because if you're saying you had peace about something, well, did you just have a
assumption,
elimination of noise, or
Sure,
because if you are an unbeliever, then, and I'm not trying to force Christianity up on you, I'm not trying to force Jesus down your throat, but if you're an unbeliever, where is your source of peace? Where is that coming from? Because if the source is not in the right place, then how can, when it costs you something, how can you look at the situation and realize that this is actually working for your good, or that you're going to come out on the other side of this on top of it?
That's good. That's good. So, Tim, did you want to try to answer that question, or do you agree with
You go.
everything Morgan
I
said? Or
mean, I was gonna also kind of just is pretty much everything Morgan said was gonna be along the same lines. Um, you pretty much, yeah. I mean, he kind of laid it out perfectly. I'm not gonna take time to rehash
right,
anything. He said it clearly and
right,
accurately.
right. So, before we go to the next topic, I want to take this moment to thank everyone again. I know this has sort of became a long video, but hey, in the presence of God and in the presence of great communication and great conversation, hey, if it lasts, it lasts.
Hey,
So
yeah,
once
oh
again,
yeah.
please take this moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We do have quite a view, quite oh, okay. Yeah, we do have quite comments, quite a lot of comments. Do want to give some recognition to the ones that's in the chat right now. Corman, Kennedy, Maya, AR, Erica, MJ, Otis. Um, there's quite a few people that Xavier. Do have quite a few people in the chat right now. We thank y'all for coming by. We thank you for watching. And just in case, if you're watching this on a replay, please feel free to add your comments in the replay. We will address your comments or get to your comments. So don't hesitate on adding your comments. But once again, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. So going into the next part, guys, question number 3 was when pressure is evolving around you, i.e. at home, at work. Like I mentioned earlier before y'all was on the stream during the pandemic, the snowstorm that we just had. How do you respond to that? How do you handle that? Because we have, as I said before, we have teenagers on here as well, and we have kids, and they might have pressure at school, dealing with peer pressure, being forced to deal with that. But how do they find peace in the middle of the storm?
Um,
Tim, you want to start off with this one?
yeah, I'll start off with this. For the Christians out there, one of the things that we're responsible for are these three things. One of these three things: our behavior, our responses, and our attitude. So, if you're a Christian, from Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, the fruits of the Spirit, it's already working. It's already in you. You just have to work it out. So, but as far as the non-believers, are you having somebody that do you have somebody that you can talk to? Do you have somebody that you can confide in, like somebody that can give you the real talk, keep it a stack with you, and you can't, you give them that permission in your life, and you listen to you. They don't tell you what you want to hear, but they tell you things that's going to help you. Um, and those people, you have to be really careful, nowadays, who you confide in, because everybody doesn't have your best intentions in mind. Um, but when pressure comes, we hear all the time that pressure it can bust a pipe, but
Right.
pressure can make diamonds too. So it's always just your outlook on things. When it comes to, I'm not trying to, unbelievers out there. I'm not bashing you or anything like that. But this is just me personally from my point of view and just from me, my life, just examples and stuff. Um, when pressure comes, for me, that's the opportunity for my faith to be on display.
All right.
All right, if I really believe Jesus, if I really believe on this Jesus that I give my life to, um, then I'm gonna, when trials and tribulations come, when pressure comes, you know, when pressure comes, I'm gonna have to, that my faith is on the line. My faith is, what I believe in is no gray area. Either I believe in what Jesus said, what His Word says, or I don't. There's no gray
Right.
area. And I think it's a big problem nowadays. There's a lot of gray area, but I believe we're in a place right now where that gray area is coming, is being, blown away. And it's either
Right.
you in or you're out, And if you're a Christian, you say you're a Christian, you got to walk it out. You got to, people are watching your life. Um, but when pressure comes, it's one of those things that you just, if you're negative, we know that, our words carry power. God created the heavens with the, and the earth with his word, with he spoke. So if you're negative, then you're just gonna be wallowing, just like trudging through mud, so to speak, to try to get out of the pressure. But pressure can be a good thing too, because it gives you, like I was just saying, it gives you opportunity. All right, I believe in Jesus. Okay, Jesus, you say you'll never leave me, you'll never leave me, you'll never forsake me. Hey, this is a perfect time. Hey, I need you.
Right.
Do you really trust it? You know,
Right.
um, one of the things, but practically speaking, have somebody we're not made to do life alone. If you're doing life alone, you know, I'm praying for you, because I'm like, it's tough. We're built to have relationships. We're built to have community, to be with people. Um, and there's a friend for everybody out there, for everybody,
Right.
for over 7 billion people on this earth. So, one of the scriptures uh, that I meditate on is Isaiah 26:3. It says that he will keep me in perfect peace when my mind is stayed upon him, because I trusted him. And one of those, and with that scripture, I just he'll keep you. He'll keep you. I love God's keeping power. He'll keep you. He'll protect you. But we have a responsibility. We have to stay in tune. We have to stay engaged, stay connected to him. And uh, it's all about who are you, who and what are you connected to is the
Right.
question. Because who and what you're connected to is going to pretty much give you the response. Whoever you have in your life that you're allowing to speak into your life, and whatever you're around, your environment, that's what's going to come out of you when pressure comes. So I just, I just hope and pray that everybody that, believers or unbelievers, it doesn't matter, that you'll find that person, that has your back, that you can confide in, that can build you up and edify you, and strengthen you and encourage you, because that's needed. That
Right.
accountability
Right.
is
Right.
needed.
That's good. That's good. We have another question that popped up. The question is, how do you deal with the pressure of wanting to be a leader and an example of God, but also not trying to push your belief on your friends that aren't believers? How do you deal with that? How do you find peace in that moment? I'll repeat the question one more time. How do you deal with the pressure of wanting to be a leader and example of God, but also not trying to push your beliefs on your friends that aren't believers? How would you deal with that? And as y'all think about that, I like to say something on this first. As a believer, the first thing you have to do is to first listen to your friend as to their opinions, their thoughts, their process as to why or why not they do not believe. The first thing you must do is listen. The second thing you do is you stand on what you believe, but you do it from a place of love. You don't want to force or become so dominant about what you believe in that you're basically saying, well, it's either going to be this way or no way at all. So you approach it in love, and you give them examples of what God has done for you. And you can even try to use an example of what they might not believe that God has done for them, but showing them that whatever that was that they made it through, whether it was a disappointment, a breakup, or they avoided a life or death situation, you could say, well, that was God with you the whole time, or he never leave you nor forsake you. But then the most important thing that you could do at the end of the day is just hear them out, and then you go back and you pray for them, and you pray for them. You pray that God reveals himself to them, and you leave it in God's hand. But first and foremost, always be a friend, always be a listener, and always approach the situation in love. How do you guys feel about that question? I think that's a very good question.
Well, I definitely believe that, as a leader, you're already a leader. You're already called to be set apart. You're already called to stand out. You're already called to be able to be the light in darkness, to be the peace in somebody else's storm. You're already called to those things. And so how do you deal with the pressure? Because I understand where you're coming from, where you're not wanting to put pressure on somebody else and trying to make them believe everything that you believe, but at the same time, you want them to see what is on the inside of you, but be able to run with the information that you have. Can y'all still hear me? Am I still with y'all?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, that was just I saw cameras disappearing and stuff. I said, "Hold on, wait a minute."
I was putting you on the big screen.
Okay, I got you. Well, but I believe you're already called to those things. I believe that you have to realize that when you're called to more, that there's always going to be pressure. When you're called to higher levels, especially in leadership, there's always going to be pressure. The position itself of leadership does not come without pressure. When you sign up for it, just like if you to sign up or apply for a job, you already know what you signed up for. So if it's cooking French fries and flipping hamburgers, or checking in people to a water slide park, you already know what you signed up for. You already know you signed up for hot days. You signed up for greasy floors. You signed up for maybe some burns from grease. You signed up you signed up for some hours that you ain't gonna like. You signed up for time away from your family. You signed up also you can get a paycheck. You know what you signed up for. And so it's that same thing when it comes to being a leader. Pressure comes with it. But like Tim said earlier, pressure can really bring out the good in you. Pressure can really refine the great things that exist on the inside of you.
All right.
And again, that goes back to your identity. We talked about earlier about as a non-believer, how do you find your peace? I listen to a lot of different motivational speakers all the time. Like, honestly, when I wake up in the morning, that's one of the first things I do, is because I have to remember my why for the day.
Right.
And I give that to you. I give that to you tonight. I say, find your why. Why do you get up and do what you do? Why do you chase the dreams that you have? Why do you get up every single day and go to work?
Yes.
Now, if you're a teenager, you probably say, well, my parents make me get up and they make me go to school. But you know why they do that? Is because they're trying to get you to find the why on the inside of you. Some of you young people, I know we got some teenagers on here. Like, some of you have your parents are not home with you. Right. Maybe your father walked out on you or walked out on your family. Maybe you're dealing with some things that are not typical. Maybe it's just your mom in your life, or maybe it's just your foster parents in your life. Maybe it's just your brothers or your sisters taking care of you. And they're the only ones that's really bringing positivity or light into your life. But you can look at them and you say, I want to be able to pay them back one day. I want to be able to sow good things and seeds into them one day. And like, E.T., the hip hop preacher, one of the things he says is you got to find that why on the inside of you, and you got to unleash that dog that's on the inside of you. He talks to a lot of sports guys, but you got to find that dog on the inside of you. If you're playing football, you got to make that hit. Like, I'm not going to lie. I never wanted to hurt anybody when I was playing. But I know if you had that ball, I want to lay you smooth out, boy.
Light 'em up.
That was. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with basketball. I wanted to break your ankles. I want your ankles to be over here and your kneecaps to be over there, because that's that dog, that hunger to want to win. And whether you're a believer or a non-believer, you have to have that hunger, that fight on the inside of you that says, I want to win. I am going to win. And you have to take authority over your own life. That pressure must bow to who you are, because you're the king, you're the queen, you're the one that's royalty. You're the one that it has authority over these things. And so that's what I say to the question. And I believe that as you progress and you start to capitalize on these moments, opportunities to look at what's before you and take authority over it, and walk boldly in the pressure, walk boldly into the things that are before you, into the uneasiness, the nervousness. Let that just be transformed into boldness, and you say, I'm going to push right on through this thing because I am going to win.
That's good. That is good. So at this time right now, if there are any more questions that anyone has in the chat, feel free to go ahead and type up questions now, because I truly believe that this is a topic that we could stay on all night. It's just peace itself. When you think about situations where you could point the finger at everything around you as to why you don't have peace. Oh, my light bill is about to be cut off, or my electric bill is about to be due, and my car note is due, and I gotta pay rent, or I gotta pay these bills, or the kids need some shoes, or my credit card. I gotta go get another credit card so I can pay this credit card. There's so many things around us in this world, worldly things, or in this life itself, as to why we can't find peace. But I challenge everyone here, find your peace. Like Morgan just said, find your why. And when you find your why, you'll find your joy. And when you find your joy, peace will come from your joy. So find your why. This is a stepping stone that my brother-in-law reminded me of, that I've been speaking this into existence for a very long time about the platform that I wanted to create. And I know since I met my wife, that was my girlfriend at the time, that was my friend before then, she's heard me talk about this platform, or having a platform, being a voice, being a vehicle to drive change, to being a vehicle that someone or anyone, any race, anybody could come to and just have a casual conversation, more like barbershop talk. And the guests that you're going to see in the future are going to be people that you will never probably think will even join a podcast of this magnitude, or just this type of conversation. And like I said, we're not going to be here to judge. I'm not going to be here to judge anyone. It's just giving a platform to have a voice, to whether you want to talk about racial inequalities or you want to talk about spiritual beliefs. I know what I stand for, and I know what my brothers stand for. But this is my why. This is why I created the channel. This is why I have the equipment. This is why we're trying to reach multiple situations so everyone can have a voice. So as I was saying before, feel free, whether you want to give an input on what next week topic is going to be about. If you feel like we should do it more than once a week, maybe we should do it twice a week. Leave a comment down below. Reach out to us. I check comments every day. I will be checking comments. So if there's a particular topic that you're interested in hearing about, you want the guests to come back. I'm not going to pay them because God hasn't blessed me to that point to put them on payroll.
Hey, I'm waiting for
But
my check, Fred.
hey, I offer them some Roman noodles or something. You know, I'll send some Kool-Aid. You know, we can make it happen. Something. But if you have any questions right now, go ahead and type any questions that you may have in the comments. It's just that was so good what Morgan and Tim was just talking about. And like I said, I think that is just a very perfect spot to end it, is finding your why. Why do you need peace? Why are you looking for peace? Why do you want to be a joy to somebody else? Why do you want to be an inspiration to somebody else? Find your why. What fuels you? What if you're feeling empty, what can you do to refuel your drive? You know, find it. If there's no excuse, what are your purpose? What is your purpose? What will you allow your purpose to be? Are you going to allow God to use you, or are you going to allow to be driven by what the world say you should be? What is your purpose? What is your why? That is so powerful. What is your why? And I've always looked at it as, if you're not solving problems or if you're not helping someone, then you're not fulfilling your purpose. This platform is to help people understand that, hey, there's more ways to come to answer a problem or a solution. Or if you're having a problem and you just want to vent, let's come to the channel and just vent. Let's talk about it. We all need an avenue of escape. We all need a somebody to listen to, somebody to just talk to at times. So find your why. I loved how Morgan said that. Find your why. So you guys have anything else you want to add, that you want to say? Please feel free to share this video. If you're watching this video on a replay, you could catch this video after we're closed this live session. This video will be posted on YouTube. You could go back and rewatch it, take notes. You could always add comments down below. Share this with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. This is the very first video, and there will be plenty of more to come. So, Boss, Tim, y'all have anything else you'd like to add or say?
I had a few things, just a few thoughts that I wanted to say. When we
Yes,
talk
sir.
about, you mentioned leadership. One of the things I wrote these down because this is some things that help me, to be mindful of, because I'm leading at work, leading, at church, or just wherever I'm doing, whatever I'm doing. Leadership takes sacrifice. Leadership doesn't throw anyone under the bus. Leadership isn't a privilege. Leadership is a privilege and not a duty. Leadership is always faithful. A leadership fixes the mistake like it was their own fault, whether I did it or not.
Right.
And leadership recognizes authority. And the second thought is, if you want to know if you're a good leader, just turn around and see who's following you.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
It's just pretty simple.
Good.
And the very last thought I had, just for peace, for me, I forgot who said this. I'm not taking credit for this, but it's so good, and I stay mindful of this. If something's gonna cost you your peace, it costs too much. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. If it's gonna cost you your peace, it costs too much. Your peace is valuable. Hold on to it. And that's all I have.
Morgan.
Well, you know, we're talking about understanding peace, and you know, I think one of the important things that we have to realize is that in this life, you know, as the word says, we're gonna face trials, we're gonna face tribulations, but you know, when we are going through this life, we we have to have some place that allows for stillness to be on the inside of us.
Yeah.
Because, you know, hearts that beat rapidly typically are facing some kind of disturbance or facing some kind of moment of chaos
Mm-hmm.
that is making that heart beat faster than it should. There's a place of rest that the heart beats at, and it's a steady rhythm. It's a steady flow. It's not rushed. It's not too slow. It's perfect in its time. It's a rhythm. There's a rhythm of this life that we have to learn how to operate in. And as we find that rhythm in our lives, we bring that peace or that rhythm into every situation around us, every single room that we walk into. There's a reason why the Bible speaks on peace being a part of the armor of God. You have to put on peace, and you have to bring it with you. You have to take it with you into every situation, into every moment. Because if you are not bringing that in with you, then you're bringing something else to the mixture.
Right.
And when you start bringing other stuff into the mixture, we all know not everything mixes well together.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, you can bake a cake and have all the right ingredients, but if you start bringing in some dog poop and you just sprinkle a little bit in there, which of y'all gonna still eat that cake?
I don't eat cake anyway, so I am, you know.
You know,
Right.
you name it, you name it, whatever it is. There's an ingredient to this life, and I believe that ingredient in this life is peace.
That's so good. That's good.
That's a valuable ingredient to
Right.
this life, and so
Right.
I say that, you know, in hopes that that people would learn how to know the voice of peace. You know, as a believer, you know that to be the voice of God. As a non-believer, hey, I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, that's the voice of God. You may not
Right.
realize that you're hearing God's voice, but that peace ain't coming from you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's God trying to show you something and trying to reveal something to you. And when you bring God into the situation, everything else has to fall in line. It does. Even when you
That's right.
feel like it's not falling in line. We look at Jesus on the cross. Jesus, when he was on that cross, people were looking at him, they were shaming us, saying, yeah, he must have did something real bad.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They were looking at him like he's a criminal, right?
right.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So some suggestions are coming through in the chat that our next topic ought to be about grace. And I know one topic that I was leaning on was lean not to your own understanding. So what I might try to do is set up a poll. Should our next topic be about leaning not to your own understanding, or should it be about what is grace? So, and a couple of people are agreeing on what is grace. I can tell you one thing: grace is free; it's not earned. Grace is free; it's not earned. There's
That's right.
nothing you could do to deserve grace. It is absolutely free. So we're gonna get ready to close this down. I want to thank you all again for coming by the stream, coming by the first video of many more to come. Throughout the week, we will find out if these two young great men of God would like to come back for the next stream, or we'll have a new guest. Whichever direction things flow, that's where we're going to go. But we thank you all. Do keep in mind that comments are always open. So if you have something you want to like to say, or you want to leave a comment or any suggestions on the next video, please leave it in the comments below. I want to also thank Tim and thank Morgan for coming by, spending this hour and a half. This is probably one of the longest time that we've been able to just come together as brothers.
Sure.
And talk and chit chat. And I greatly enjoy this. My worldly brothers, I thank Kevin for coming into the stream. I know my twin brother. Yes, I have a twin, y'all. Just in case you didn't know that, identical twin. He stopped by, and we'll probably have them one day on the stream. So, thank you all. Make sure you please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you please share this video and share the links. It's real easy to do. Share the links, invite other people. Let's create this platform to be as big as possible and allow everybody to have a voice. So with that, I thank you all for coming by. Thank you again, brothers, for helping me with this first live stream. And hopefully you guys will be available for many, many, many more to come. So thank you all. And with that being said, good night. May God keep you in his peace. And we'll see you next time.